Trump warns again that any threat to US forces in the Caribbean will be answered without hesitation. That statement dropped just hours before the incident that shook naval commanders on both sides. At 7:42 a.m., in international waters of the Gulf of Paria, the calm broke without warning. The US Navy destroyer USS Gravely was moving on a steady patrol route at 18 knots, sea state low, visibility clear. Then the ocean changed. Sonar alarms snapped on. A subsurface contact surged upward and broke the surface less than half a mile off Gravely's starboard side. Water exploded into the air. The bridge shook. For a moment, no one spoke. Instead of backing away, the unknown contact held position at a distance no trained crew would ever accept as safe. Gravely stayed on course, engine steady, but every screen on the bridge turned serious. Collision alerts echoed. Watch officers locked in. This was no accident, no drifting object. Someone wanted to be noticed. Within seconds, the risk jumped from routine patrol to live danger. One wrong move at this range could tear steel or force a response no one could take back. If you want to follow this confrontation step by step as it unfolds, subscribe now and stay with us, because what happened next pushed this standoff far closer to the edge. What happened near USS Gravely was not random, and it did not happen in a quiet corner of the ocean. The Gulf of Paria is one of the most watched stretches of water in the southern Caribbean. Commercial ships pass through every hour. Energy routes, radar coverage, and patrol patterns overlap here day and night. Every move is seen, every signal is recorded. That is why this location matters. For Venezuela, this area carries pressure. Internal politics, regional disputes, and the need to show control at sea all collide here. Moving a subsurface contact close to a US destroyer sends a message without firing a shot. It says, "We are here, we are watching, we are not afraid." But sending that message so close is risky, because distance at sea is safety. When that distance disappears, intent becomes impossible to ignore. For the US crew on Gravely, this was not about politics, it was about responsibility. More than 300 sailors were on board, many of them on routine watch, expecting another quiet patrol. In seconds, routine turned into tension. Hands stayed steady, voices stayed calm, but everyone understood the stakes. A sudden turn, a wrong read, or a misunderstood signal could lead to collision or escalation. This is how modern confrontations start, not with missiles, but with pressure. Not with noise, but with proximity. And if you believe the contact was testing limits, press 1. If you think it crossed a dangerous line, press 9 and subscribe, because the first response came fast, and it changed the tone of everything that followed. The first response began quietly, almost calmly, but every second mattered. On the sonar display inside USS Gravely's Combat Information Center, the contact symbol shifted color. What had been a soft, uncertain mark turned solid. Someone was there, and they were close. A sonar technician leaned closer to the screen, not speaking at first. Then, one short report broke the silence. Contact confirmed. Range under half a mile. On the bridge, the officer of the deck did not raise his voice. He did not need to. The tone of the report was enough. Engines held steady, but the ship's posture changed. Gravely was now fully alert. The captain stepped forward, eyes fixed on the main display. The destroyer adjusted course by a few degrees, a small move that meant everything. At sea, even a slight turn can buy time. The collision alarm stopped screaming, but the danger did not disappear. The unknown contact stayed where it was, close enough to force decisions. Orders came in short sentences. Launch the helicopter. Bring sonar to full sensitivity. Notify regional command. No one ran. No one panicked. This was training taking over. Within minutes, an MH-60R helicopter lifted off the deck, blades cutting through the humid air as it climbed and turned toward the contact's last position. Its job was simple: find out what this thing was and make sure it did not get any closer. At the same time, a P-8 Poseidon already patrolling farther north was redirected. From high above, it began feeding data back to the ship. Gravely was no longer alone. Sea and air were now linked, watching the same patch of water. Inside the ship, the mood stayed tight. Sailors spoke less. Screens updated more often. The ocean outside looked unchanged, flat and blue, but no one trusted it anymore. The unknown contact had forced the US Navy to shift from routine presence to controlled defense without a single shot fired. Then came another update. The contact's movement slowed. Its position became less certain. It was either backing off or trying to disappear. Both possibilities carried risk. A retreat could be a signal. A disappearance could be something else entirely. Gravely held its course. The helicopter circled. The Poseidon listened from above. This was the first response, measured and disciplined. But it made one thing clear. Whatever had surfaced too close had already changed the situation. And the next move, from either side, would decide whether this remained a warning or turned into something far more serious. The escalation did not come with explosions or shouted commands. It came with pressure. Minutes after the first response, USS Gravely felt it building. The unknown contact did not fully withdraw. Instead, it drifted in and out of sonar range, never far enough to be harmless, never close enough to force an immediate reaction. At sea, that kind of behavior is deliberate. It keeps nerves tight and options limited. On the bridge, the captain ordered another course change, this time sharper. Gravely turned just 5 degrees to port. It sounds small, but in close encounters, 5 degrees can decide survival. The ship's speed increased slightly, pushing water harder along the hull. Below deck, engineers watched engine strain climb, knowing the ship could hold it, but not forever. The helicopter crew reported back in short bursts. Surface clear, no debris, no obvious vessel. That answer raised more questions than it solved. If nothing was visible, then whatever caused the disturbance was either slipping away below the surface or holding position in a blind spot. Neither option was comforting. For the crew, fatigue began to show. Eyes stayed locked on screens. Coffee cups went untouched. Every alert tone pulled attention instantly. No one wanted to be the first to miss a change. In situations like this, mistakes are born from seconds of distraction. Above it all, the Poseidon continued its slow orbit, listening, sorting noise from signal. Data flowed back to Gravely, filling the tactical picture with layers of information. Still, there was no clear answer. Just tension, stretched thin across open water. This was no longer a single moment. It was a test of endurance and discipline. The unknown contact was forcing the US ship to react again and again, burning time, fuel, and focus. And if you think this was a smart way to apply pressure, press 1. If you think it was a dangerous gamble that could have gone wrong fast, press 9 and subscribe, because the next turn in this standoff caught both sides off guard. The twist came quietly, almost easy to miss if you were not watching every detail. On Gravely's sonar, the contact did not fade the way a clean retreat would look. Instead, the signal broke apart. One mark became 2, then 3. For a few seconds, the picture made no sense at all. In the combat center, believing your eyes is dangerous. A sudden split like that can mean many things. It can be clutter, it can be noise, or it can be intentional. The captain asked the question no one wanted to answer too fast. Is that real, or is someone trying to pull us off position? The helicopter crew adjusted their pattern, widening their circle. From above, the ocean looked empty. No wake, no metal, just calm water reflecting the morning sun. Below the surface, though, the sound picture told a different story. One signal weakened, another sharpened, then both slipped just outside the most comfortable tracking range. What no one could confirm yet was whether this was a single object changing depth and speed, or something designed to confuse sensors. In close confrontations, even simple decoys can create hesitation. And hesitation at sea can be costly. Gravely did not chase. That choice mattered. Instead of lunging toward the shifting signals, the ship held its defensive box. Speed steady, course controlled, air support stayed overhead. This was restraint, not weakness. It forced the unknown contact to make the next move. Inside the ship, sailors felt the shift before it was announced. The tension changed shape. This was no longer about distance alone. It was about intent. Was this a probe that had gone too far, or a deliberate attempt to test how the US Navy reacts under pressure? No one had the answer yet, but one thing was clear. The situation was no longer simple, and whatever had surfaced too close had already lost control of how this encounter would end. The climax arrived without warning. A sharp tone cut through the combat center as one of the sonar marks surged back into range, closer and faster than before. On the bridge, the update came in short and direct. Contact closing, bearing steady. For 3 seconds, no one spoke. The captain made the call. All stations, hold maneuver, prepare defensive turn. Gravely did not rush forward. It did not back away. The ship angled slightly, engines pushing harder as the hull leaned into the water. Deck plates vibrated underfoot. From the bridge windows, the sea still looked calm, but the air felt heavy. The helicopter crew broke in over the radio. "We have surface disturbance. Brief." Then gone. That was enough. Whatever was down there had moved again, and it was close enough to force a decision. The Poseidon overhead tightened its orbit, feeding live updates into the ship's systems. Data stacked on screens. Ranges updated by the second. Another alarm sounded, then stopped. The contact hesitated. Its speed dropped. The track line bent away, not toward the destroyer, but not cleanly away either. It was the most dangerous moment of the entire encounter. Close enough to collide. Too close to ignore. Still no shot fired. The captain ordered a hard turn, sharper than before. Gravely rolled into it, water climbing the side of the hull. Inside, sailors grabbed rails and consoles, keeping balance as the ship changed angle. The maneuver worked. The predicted paths no longer crossed. Then, just as fast as it had returned, the contact slipped back into the noise. Sonar screens cleared. The sharp tones went silent. Only the low hum of the ship remained. On the bridge, the captain exhaled slowly, eyes still locked forward. No cheers followed. No relief yet. Everyone knew this could still be a trick. Minutes passed. Then more. The helicopter reported no further movement. The Poseidon confirmed the same. The ocean had gone quiet again. The peak had passed, but the lesson remained. In those few minutes, restraint, training, and discipline had kept steel from colliding and weapons from speaking. The standoff ended not with force, but with control. And that control would shape everything that came next. After the tension faded, USS Gravely remained on station. The patrol did not end, the route did not change. But the atmosphere on board was no longer routine. Sonar logs were locked in. Flight crews replayed their tracks again and again. Officers rebuilt the timeline minute by minute. Every sound, every turn, every pause was documented. Because encounters like this are never treated as isolated moments. No sailors were injured, no systems were damaged. On paper, the outcome looked clean, but above the ship, the response moved fast. Regional commanders were briefed within hours. Analysts reviewed how close the contact came, how long it lingered, and why it behaved the way it did. Quiet messages moved through diplomatic channels, not with threats, but with warnings. At sea, distance is law. Breaking that rule creates consequences even without a single shot fired. The ripple spread beyond the military. Allies received secure briefings outlining what happened and why it mattered. Commercial operators in the region took notice. Energy markets watched the Caribbean more closely for the rest of the day, reacting not to damage, but to risk. In modern confrontations, uncertainty alone can raise costs and force adjustments. The broader lesson was clear. Power today is not just about weapons. It is about control. Pressure is applied in yards, not miles. Signals are sent through movement, not words. A single risky maneuver can force billion-dollar ships to react in seconds. Restraint becomes a tool. Discipline becomes dominance. For Venezuela, the message was sharp and unavoidable. Being seen is easy. Managing what follows is not. Once the distance closed, the situation stopped being theirs to shape. The US Navy did not chase. It did not fire. But it also did not back down. That balance is what defines modern deterrence. The final reports ended with a quiet note of caution. Encounters like this rarely stay alone. When a line is tested once, it is often tested again, slightly closer, slightly bolder. For now, the water returned to normal. But every crew operating in the region understood the margin had narrowed, and the next moment of tension may not end with silence.